The Los Angeles Chargers added a lot of players this offseason, but there's one player in particular was very strategic add, and one that I think is going to be very good for the Chargers, and not a lot of people are paying attention to it. And it's been really interesting seeing Jesse Minter out there. He was mic'd up. If you haven't seen that on the Chargers social media, him and Jim Harbaugh talking, and it feels good. All those mic'd up, whether across any of the 32 teams, just as cool because you're getting to see into practice. But it feels like Jesse Minter is going to really have that defense under control and in the right spot. It's going to be really awesome. So here's the playmaker that I'm talking about. And by the way, we're Detroit Lions fans. This is an LA Chargers channel, though. We give you an unbiased look into the Chargers on this channel. And here's a guy that we know a lot about. We live here in Michigan. It is Cornelius Johnson. And why he was picked so late is interesting to me, because look at him and everything about him. And this is why I like this article. It comes from Maize and Brew, which is a Michigan website. So maybe a little biased, but they're not. It's pretty much facts on this. And it's like, man, this is a wide receiver that can really help as you look at this wide receiver room. That's been the big part that we've kind of honed in on this channel, because we know Jim Harbaugh can run the ball. We know that. And the offensive line is good, in great shape with Slater, Joe Alt there. We've done a video on Saylor as well, and Zion Johnson. Like, they're going to be good on the offensive line. They're going to be able to run the ball, but they need the wide receivers to step up. We know Ladd McConkey's going to be there. Can Quentin Johnston be there? I don't know. We know Chark is good. He just hasn't had an opportunity the last couple of years, but Chark's going to be really good. So can Cornelius Johnson or Brendan Rice step up? And here's why I think Cornelius Johnson was very smart in how they did this. So he started 44 of 61 games he played at wide receiver. He had 139 receptions, 2,000 yards, and 14 touchdowns, really in 3 years. And while Johnson may not have been a consistent target in the end zone, J.J. McCarthy often found him in situations where he needed a reliable receiver. So look at this just from the combine. 6'3", 212 pounds, ran a 4.4, good vertical, good broad jump. So it's like, okay, like that's all that's great. Now here is what's interesting. You look at his strengths, standout performance at the Combine and Shrine Bowl. According to PFF, he led college football in contested catch rate. In the Big Ten championship game, he had 9 receptions and didn't drop a single pass. And that is the biggest thing about Cornelius Johnson. He would go long stretches with just kind of disappearing. And why was that? Because Michigan was so dominant in the run game, and they're going up against Rutgers, and it's 40-0. And I mean, they just kind of run the ball, run the clock out, right? But in the big games, Ohio State, Big Ten championship, Alabama, the national championship, here's what he did. In the Big Ten championship game, he had 9 receptions, didn't drop a pass. In the Ohio State game in 22 and 20, and this is supposed to say 22, I believe. He had 160 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Buckeyes. This was on the road in 22. And then in 23, he didn't have huge numbers, but he did reel in a couple catches to keep drives alive. He can get separation and get into space. So remember, PFF said that he has the best contested catch rate, and he can separate and get into space. And he's 6'3", 212, runs a 4.4, and he knows Jim Harbaugh. And for Jim Harbaugh to grab him, you know all the things, right? Jim Harbaugh's like, if he knew him, recruited him, was been with him for the last 3 years, and didn't think he could do it, then he's not going to, it's like, fine. But he knew that, man, this guy is good, and I can't wait to see what he can do. So here's his weaknesses. He doesn't have the stats. Why? Because he went to Michigan. Michigan was running the ball. He was fast, but in context with other wide receivers, it's the middle of the pack. Okay, fine. And that's, again, these are all why he dropped. Like, you can kind of make a case for why he dropped. He had drops in big games. I've watched every Michigan game for 20 years. I don't remember that. I don't remember him dropping big or passes in big games. And he's going to be competing for attention in a talented group of receivers. Or he was with Roman Wilson And then he had Donovan Peoples-Jones before that. I mean, there's been some good wide receivers, but again, the biggest thing is Michigan was just so dominant in the run game. It was hard to get in the ball. NFL comparison, Donovan Peoples-Jones, who is the number 3 receiver with the Detroit Lions. So you take that to the depth chart. Ladd McConkey, DJ Chark. Love that. Then if Cornelius Johnson can be a guy that you can slip in here, and again, you won't see this in the beginning of the season, but I think as time goes on, you'll start to realize that this wide receiver room that's been much criticized for getting rid of main guys will be just fine. And I think that's what's huge. If you're a Chargers fan, you're going to be you're going to be just fine with these guys, and so you don't have to worry about the run game. We know that, but then you don't have to worry about the pass game either, because you have the quarterback. It's not going to be, it's not going to be a thing that you have to worry about. Now, if you look at the rest of some OTA information and stuff that's going on out there, again, Jesse Minter was mic'd up. Some of the things that come out of that was just the overall vibe was great. Asante Samuel continues to shine. You see Bosa, you see Khalil Mack out there, you see Derwin James. You're like, okay, man, the cupboard's not bare. And I think if you're a Chargers fan, for a minute there, it felt like it, just because you weren't doing a ton in free agency. And then the draft was kind of all right, are we going to get a standout player? Like, the cupboard's not bare. And if you're a Chargers fan, you have to be excited about the blue chip players on defense. The fact that Jesse Minter, when he was at Michigan, makes the defense always look the same. So I know I don't know. I think everyone's trying to do a variation of that, but not where you line up and the defense looks the same. There's no one high safety, a guy dropping down. It's 2 high safeties every single time. And again, this could change, but my point is Jesse Minter makes it look like guys are under control and comfortable. There's not a lot of movement. There's not a lot of trying to trick you, because then you end up tricking yourself. And one of the things he said in the mic'd up was like, anticipate the motion and like get ready for it. And I just thought that was just a little sneak peek into, in the year 2024, there's motion, that jet motion. You see the Rams do it. Everybody's doing it. They're trying to confuse you. The Niners, it's coming. Anticipate it and let's get ready. Have our calls. And that's the nice thing, is like Junior Colson has been in this system, knows it. He can step right in. The defense is just going to be settled down. Offense is going to run the ball. It's all just going to be nice. And then the wide receiver room is not as bare, because Cornelius Johnson, Ladd McConkey, and then just it's almost like a bonus if Johnson's good. We're just not like counting on him anymore. We don't have to. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on this. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Trying to get to 10,000 subs on this channel, and we'll see all of you on the next